Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So I'm going to make me the presenter, right?
Awesome.
Okay.
If you're just joining us, we got a few more people logging in.
We have a big group today.
We do. I think I just last checked 108 people joining us this morning. So.
Oh.
Yes, this is probably the biggest registration we've had so far.
Yeah.
We're usually around maybe 60. So as of this morning, we were over 100 when I first signed on. So everybody's really interested to hear from our guests. First, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Taylor Fidowa. I do our communications at MiRealSource, as well as our photo program, some other classes as well, including now the Mixing It Up for you guys. And I've been with MiRealSource for a little over 6 years now, and it's been really fun switching and doing online lately. And I see a lot of people that have attended previous classes and mixing it up on, but we definitely will have some newbies. And also my co-host is Kathleen Garden.
Hello, everybody.
Just want to make sure everybody can hear us okay, and go over the platform if you're new to GoToWebinar. I see a good morning, so I just want to make sure that everybody can hear us. There's a questions and chat sidebar. That's where you can obviously ask your questions, participate in some of the stuff that we're talking about. We're going to have some trivia questions for you and prizes, and that's where you're going to use your way to communicate with us, just because we will have so many people on. If we were to unmute everyone, it could get a little wild and crazy. So typing in your questions and your discussions with us is your way to communicate with us. Our guests today, we also have our CEO on. He's not hosting or anything, but he can chime in and answer questions. And our CEO, Dave DeReese. Dave, you want to say hi?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Morning, Dave.
Morning.
So go ahead and let us know that you can hear us. Okay, you can hear us. Thank you, everyone. And then our two guests today are Kathleen Garden from Kw Lakeside. She's going to be talking about how she's been running her business virtually for quite some time now, and some ways that she's been successful, and the things that we've been showing, and some little tips and tricks on her end. And we also have Andrew Hopkins, who's also from Kw Lakeside, and he's going to be showing you some technology, even more than what we've been showing you, that's available on your phone, and editing videos for these virtual showings and virtual open houses. So we have a lot of great content today. We're going to have two trivia questions with a prize of a picnic basket kit.
That is adorable. I love that.
I thought this would have came in handy. We did a picnic over the weekend, bike ride picnic, and we just had a little cooler strapped to my cruiser. But I thought that this would have been really cute to have. But it's got the cooler, it's got all your plates and silverware that you would need. Of course, a bottle of wine if you need that, or something to keep chilled. So if you get the trivia questions right, then the first one to get it right will win this beautiful prize.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. And then now I'm going to hand it off to Colleen, because we have some breaking news, exciting stuff we want to show. Just 2 minutes real quick before we let our guests do their thing. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Colleen.
All right, terrific.
Give me 1 second. If I can find your name. There you are.
All right. Thank you. So I'm just going to pop this up. So kind of breaking news just happened this morning. This morning, you will notice that the showing time link has been restored on your listings. What we've done is we have changed it to automatically go to virtual appointments. Obviously, we do not want agents getting in their car and driving over and showing homes, because that would be against the governor's order. So what we've done is we've now made it very easy to actually do virtual appointments, so virtual showings. And so you will see that there is a status now. It is now defaulted to virtual appointments only. I'm actually going to show you what it looks like when you schedule. So let me pull up a listing here real quick. When I go in to change my listing, if I want to go in and add the link for, let's say, a Zoom call, or let's say I want to add that virtual property showing link into showing time, I can do that right on my listing. But the new thing you'll notice is it says virtual appointments only. And this, when they go to schedule, will now allow them to immediately get the link to either my Zoom call at my specified time. I have left it in the go and show status, but one thing I would recommend, the cool thing about what we did is appraisers can still go and appraise properties. So we still want them to be able to get the lockbox code. So what I have done is I have removed my lockbox codes, and I'm only actually putting them in there when the property goes pending. And that way, when the appraiser goes in, he's still able to get the lockbox code and schedule the appraisals. I'm actually going to show you real quick how it's going to look. So if I go to this Southgate listing here, you'll see that the showing time link is now restored. So when you go in, you can schedule by simply clicking on it. You're going to schedule, I'm going to do a single showing. And again, you can block it out as an agent. So let's say you wanted to take virtual appointments or virtual property showings, and you want to do it from maybe 11 to 11:30 to talk to agents who might have some interest in the property. They can go ahead and they can simply click on the time you've approved, and what you'll see is it now only allows them to do a virtual showing. And then right down here, I can put in my Zoom call phone number. So making good progress. We obviously want to get back to work. We still have to work smartly. We have to work remotely as of right now. So the good news is the link is back, but it is now defaulting to virtual showings only. But this will still allow you to put in that Zoom phone call number so that you can speak to someone about your listing, especially if you have agents who have some questions. We have actually showed in our virtual open house and virtual property showing 2 agents that were literally going over the footage from the seller. They were communicating, asking questions, and going through the information on the home. So if you have not taken that class, I strongly recommend taking it. Next week, we have the working remotely. We have the remote virtual open house and virtual property showing class. And then, of course, we have our mixing it up again next week at 10 o'clock on Thursday. So a lot of good classes next week. So please make sure that you attend those. All right, Taylor, should I kick it back to you now?
I think you could probably just hand it to Kathleen's screen, and then we can
All right.
it over.
Okay, let me jump out of here.
I am going to move this over
You
to
have
you
your
right now.
stuff ready, Colleen or Kathleen?
Yes.
All right, you're going to see a make me the presenter pop up on your screen here in just a second, and it will ask you to show your screen. And thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show today. I have been noticing you've had incredible success working remotely. I've been kind of watching you for a while. I know you have done some really great things with referral business around the country. And both Taylor and I, when we were talking about people who were, implementing a lot of the strategies that they've learned, you immediately came to mind. And so tell us a little bit about you, Kathleen.
Sure. I've been a realtor at Kw Lakeside since 2012 and gone through, a couple different shifts actually. Built my business through referral, agent-to-agent referral business across the whole United States and the world, mostly with Keller Williams, but also with any brokerage. And since the pandemic, doing things virtually isn't totally new to me because I've done that before with people moving from out of state. But I've really learned to do much more with it and use the tools that MiRealSource is really empowering us with. And it's really changed the way I'm doing business. And I'm actually at 3 closings this month. I got a buyer that was a referral from a Keller Williams agent and just put them under contract yesterday. And the buyers did everything virtually. So we did all of the walkthroughs virtually. It's my first virtual deal, and inspection is being done right now
Awesome.
by the inspector. So yeah, so it's been I just shifted my mindset. There's action out there.
That is awesome. Yeah, it's amazing. We recently just changed the market monitor to show how many pendings, how many active, and how many closed. And there's a lot of deals still being done. And obviously we have to do them differently. But you're right; it's shifting your mindset to just work in a new way. And it's those agents who are really capitalizing on the business right now, like yourself.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So now you attended a few of the classes. You took the remote agent class, correct? And you took the virtual open house class. Let me ask you, if you could give the audience a tip that you picked up that you found very helpful, what would that be?
Oh, good question, Colleen. I would say pick one thing and apply it. Use it, play around with it, and just pick one. You overwhelm yourself if you try and do, 2, 3, 4 things. So pick one thing. And for me, I don't have listings right now, so I'm focusing on the buyers. So what I focused on was, on one of the classes, is using the market stats, and while I'm on Zoom, sharing that with my clients to show them what the activity is, what it was like last year, this year, in their area, the increase of prices, because the buyers are still looking at Zestimate, and it's just using the tools. So that's really what I have focused on, more so than anything, but it's really apply it. Just pick one thing and play with it, apply it.
That's terrific. So is there a particular challenge that you found doing things remotely? And is there a particular challenge maybe you found, but then found a solution or something that worked in your business that you could share with the people on this call?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I'm seeing this, like I said, a lot with my buyers, is, you've got to have a plan. So when I did the consultation with my buyers, I had to have a plan. It's a new way of doing business. Before, we were going and meeting with the buyers in the office or the sellers. So I actually have a presentation. I have an organized plan. That was a challenge because I had to reshift, right? I had to shift and pivot and redo my business. My business and goals are different than they were 2 months ago or a month ago. So that was a true challenge in the beginning. And the second challenge was really just educating the market, the buyers, the consumers on the new market. And how do I do that? I had to empower myself. So I started jumping on the classes and the different Zooms. And then I had to pick and choose. So you've got to change the way you're doing business. You can't look in the past. You got to go forward. We are in a different market. So that was a big challenge for me, but I overcame it, and it's been working great.
That is awesome. I'm very fortunate. I have a property closing today, and you get the statements in, and you're like, oh my gosh, now it is doing it differently. It's doing Zoom calls to review numbers, with the seller to tell them, here's what you're going to see, because I obviously can't attend the closing. So you're right. It's reworking, but you're right. We all have the tools, and if you don't know, Zoom, you can have a free Zoom account. You can set it up. The only thing about the free Zoom accounts is you only get up to 40 minutes. So literally at 40 minutes, it just cuts your session off. But they're very affordable plans too. I think it started at like $14.95 for a Zoom account, right through, they have more, different deluxe plans too. But it's exactly what you said. It's reinventing your business so that you can still meet your buyers' needs and they're still having great experiences. And I'm talking to so many agents who are saying, well, I'm not going to put these houses on the market right now until all of this is over. And I think that's a huge mistake, because there's still such a low amount of inventory that buyers that have been looking for a long time. They are still writing purchase agreements that are subject to the buyer being able to walk through the property. And I know you had a similar situation to that, if I remember. Didn't you just write a deal that way?
Right, and then in Royal Oak, because Royal Oak has always been a hot spot, right? And as I was taking my buyers around, I was kind of saying, snooze, you lose. Like, what? And they were confused about that. They thought this was a buyer's market. I was like, no, it's not. So 3 out of the 10 houses we were looking at went pending in 2 to 4 days. So, and then I know agents in our office, you know, have listed houses in Clinton Township, Macomb, Shelby, and they've gone pending in 2 days. Well, that's proof right there, right? And I
And
think
it's
we
not
all,
Kathleen, is that where you use market stats a lot to show them the trends of what's happening for the buyers and really make that easy for them?
yes, especially Taylor Royal Oak. I just did that. I pulled up the market stats because they thought we offered below the list price, but they wanted to offer 10,000 below the list price. I said, guys, we're not in that kind of market. So I had to take a timeout with them, use data. I had to use hardcore facts and data, which, you know, MiRealSource provides us that with a touch of a button. And I did. I shared my screen and showed them the data. And then they regrouped and we made the offer, got it accepted because they were stuck. They were stuck on thinking, wait a minute, the house has been on the market for 35 days. Nobody's making offers. I'm like, well, look at the pandemic. They listed it during. Here's the data. Look at the past 3 months because they were looking at 2-3 years ago. So I pulled the market stats in Royal Oak and just proved the data. And the data doesn't lie.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's one of the things I definitely talk about is you can use market stats as a lead capture of just generally what's going on in the market, but it's a great tool to use individually with a client to answer their specific questions because it can be customized so much and they don't know what they don't know. And if they are relying on sources like a Zestimate, they're not fully in the know. So it makes you the expert in the industry. So that's awesome to hear because that's my favorite product that we have. I teach it, but you know, it's just so easy, user friendly, and has everything you really need. So that's awesome.
And I never shared my screen before, you know, but this time, you know, now that Zoom, and I was a little nervous, right? But it takes one time. And I think Colleen, you and I talked about this. You got to play with it. Practice on somebody in your office. Practice on a family member. Once you play with it, oh my gosh, it's so easy to navigate through the systems.
Yeah, Zoom is very user friendly.
I feel like a Zoom queen now because I'm just zooming all over the place. But I have to say too, this is crazy. I've actually gotten to know my buyers more. I'm spending so much time Zooming with them and talking to them because we have to. I'm not meeting them and driving and meeting at the houses and talking. I'm actually, it's more intimate in a weird way. And I'm learning more about them.
Right? Because you don't have to always drive to their house. You can just do a quick Zoom and talk and see their face and catch up.
I mean, still, you know, that personal touch, and they keep saying that, you know, Kathy, we can't wait to see you in person, and we're gonna, you know, they become my good buddies actually. And doing the Zooms and watching the sellers sell, you know, and the 2 agents, we're all for connecting. And remember, God, okay, 2 months ago, we'd be telling our sellers, you know, you don't ever talk to the buyers if they come in. Well, now it's the opposite. Think of that shift. Sellers now have to go through the house and show their house and talk, and we're letting them talk. So total shift.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. I love the success stories, and I love that you took the classes, you applied it, and you're right. You know, we talked yesterday about how the hardest part is overcoming the fear of using technology, and so I said, you know, send your husband or your mother or a family member a Zoom call. Do a Zoom call with them. Practice sharing ahead. Don't wait until you're hosting a virtual open house to try it because that's, you know, obviously a lot of pressure. But just practice ahead. You can set up a free account. It doesn't have to be. You know, you just play with it. You'll find it's easier than you think. The hardest thing is overcoming your mental fear of doing it. Once you do it a few times, you find how really easy it is. So thank you for sharing all your great success stories with us. That was really nice.
Sure. My pleasure.
Kathleen, real quick, can you just show everybody, since your screen is up, where you go to find market stats?
Sure. So let's see, I'll get out of this. So you just go to resources, and I do this quick because now once you do it, you know, go to market stats. I don't know if I still have it up there from Royal Oak. Let's see, since I just did this 2 days ago. So what I did, I'm going to show you what I did. I don't want the entire MLS, so I dropped it down here. Okay, and I put in Royal Oak because that's what I was concerned with, just showing Royal Oak. Okay. And I know for me, my buyers were looking for was above this price. So I'm going to really, you know, try and personalize it to my buyers. I put in residential. I knew what they were looking for, but I think I kept it at all sizes. I wanted to give them an overlook at the market, and I put 3 bedrooms plus. Okay, and this was I did the average. I usually do an average price. I don't know why. And this was helpful. See what this graph showed, because they were stuck back in 2015 what the seller bought her house for. And I showed them that you're not in a buyer's market right now. Look at the prices are going up. So I actually shared my screen. We walked through this, and I also sent it to them. You can also, you know, if you want to see new listings, homes for sale. So this gave me the data and the power, you know, to empower them, the consumer, the buyer. And then what you can do too is when you go here and share it, it allows you to make a PDF, share it on Facebook, you know, social media, and then you hit share. So you've got a couple options. Even also, if depending on what whether you want a line or a bar, you know, it just shows it depending on the, you know, your clients, customers, yeah, how they want to see it in a box or a graph. But this is powerful because they were so stuck. They withdrew their offer and they got cold buyer's remorse, cold feet. But then once I showed them the data and said, you know, guys, you're not getting this house for 10,000 below list price, they shifted their thinking. It's so easy to navigate through this. You can really customize it. This you can
put on the custom button real quick if you don't mind. Right,
sure.
like where you were under Royal Oak or price range where you put 229 or above. If you really want it specific, you can put, you know, 400,000 if you really want to, so that that does not interfere. There's just so much that you can do.
Right. Yeah, and if you're going to do a condo, you click condo, but yeah, you can really customize it. So I've been using this with all of my buyer consultations, and then I print it and save it as a PDF. I've used it and you know, put it on Facebook. It's a great tool. It's so easy to use. Just do it once, play with it.
And we do, just so everybody knows before we move on to Andrew, we do offer an online course in this as well. So you can take the online course that we have. So we're not just doing the remote and paperless class and mixing it up. We still have classes on all of our products. Debbie, our director of education, she's doing the schedule about 1 to 2 weeks out. So always check back every week. But Market Stats is one of them that we have an online course on.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen. Is there any little last words that you want to say before we move on to Andrew?
Just embrace the new norm, the new way. Just embrace it and adapt, adjust, and embrace. Use the tools. We got lots of MiRealSource wonderful tools.
Yeah, don't be afraid, right?
Yes.
All right, so I am going to give our first prize away. I'm going to take over the screen, okay? I'm all the way down at the bottom. Hang on 1 second. All right, so this isn't actually really trivia, but it's a pretty easy thing. You guys are all on your computer right now. MiRealSource, we've had a YouTube channel for a while now, where we just kind of put random stuff on, and we're really looking to add so much more content, from these classes to some lives, anything that might be a good tutorial for you, and then some. So we definitely want you guys to subscribe, because there's going to be regular content updated on here. So the first person that we see, and I get a notification because I'm signed into our YouTube channel, MiRealSource Media, the first person that we see subscribe is going to win one of the backpack picnic kits. So now's your opportunity. Go on real quick to YouTube and MiRealSource Media, find us and subscribe, and the first person that I get a notification on will be the winner. So there's going to be a lot of new content coming onto our YouTube channel. So it's a good time to subscribe if you do not already subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so I'm going to keep that open. I'll be waiting for subscription notifications to come through. And I am going to hand it off to Andrew now. I just got to find your name 1 second.
Taylor, and I'm sending you the first, I just got the pop-up too. Also, so there you go.
All right. All right, so we have Andrew Hopkins. Andrew, do you want to do a quick little intro of yourself and your background?
Yes, thank you guys for having me today. I really appreciate it. So I'm with Keller Williams Lakeside also. I've been a realtor just about going into my 3rd year here, but my previous life, I was a school teacher. I taught for about 25 years in Harper Woods. And what Harper Woods went to was called a one-to-one environment where all students had devices. And I moved from a teaching role to a trainer with Apple devices, and we had iPads and MacBooks, and I would do staff training and setup. And I also work with Apple with their what's called the Distinguished Educator Program, and I do training for staff in state and out of state, things like that. So when I came over to do real estate, I really wanted to apply some of these techniques to working with real estate. And one of the things I started doing was using the app Eclipse to do a little video teaser for an open house. And I started doing things like that. But now as we've gone to this virtual environment, it's been a big need for videos and virtual walkthroughs. So, and some agents reached out to me and asked for help, and some agents were posting on our private Facebook page saying, I have these videos my client sent, what do I do? And I've been helping people, and here we are.
Awesome, that's great. So you're helping a lot of the agents get their apps on their phone, get familiar. Is that kind of a big thing that you've noticed, is that hang up between the video with the seller and getting it to the agent, right?
Right, and there's a couple of ways. I know from taking the classes with you guys, that Axel app, that was a new one I've learned about as far as how a seller can upload videos and you can download to the agent. Yeah. Also using Google is another way. A lot of times what I do, if I'm doing an open house for someone, I'll actually use the MiRealSource app, and I'll get the pictures off the HomeSnap app. I'll get the pictures off of that.
Great, that's awesome. Do you want to show that process?
Yeah.
Using HomeSnap first, and then I know there's another app that you want to show as well, but if you want to show us HomeSnap,
my phone here. So, you know, the apps I've been using to do these, either iMovie or Eclipse. iMovie is more of a video editor where you're actually editing the video and the audio. Eclipse is more of a social media app, and you're not doing as much editing. But both of them, you really need the physical pictures and video on your devices. So one of the things is I open up here is the HomeSnap app, great app. And this listing right here, I help the agent create a virtual walkthrough using these photos. So I go up to the photo, and I'm just gonna pick one here. Now, to get this photo into my phone, you can't really save it from the app. So what you have to do is called a screenshot. And all phones have a different way of doing a screenshot. I'm on an iPhone 11, and I'm gonna squeeze the two ends together, and that's gonna make my screenshot. But if you have a device and you Google my device plus screenshot, you'll get information how to do that. So I'm gonna squeeze, I get a little screenshot, and then I kind of come down here, crop out the extra, hit done, and then I save the photos. So it's very simple. So you can go through the photos that you want to use for editing, and just again squeeze, and then crop.
And this is just to remind, this is an easy way to get your listings photos from your seller after it's already been posted, so that you can edit it in your phone, right?
Or if you're doing an open house for another agent to drum up leads, get leads, and you need those listing photos.
Okay.
From here, I can either put them into Eclipse or iMovie. Now, one of the things is you want to think about what the purpose of your video is. If your video is a teaser to get people interested, I use a shorter video, and it doesn't really necessarily have a specific order. I really like the photo class I took with you, Taylor, because you talked about how you can take those pictures and put them in an order to kind of like tour the home.
Yeah.
And that's really important, because if you're doing a virtual tour, you want to use those photos in iMovie in that way, where you're kind of showing the home and how it looks. Whereas if I use Clips to do a teaser, I might just show the quick highlights that get people interested in the house. So it's kind of important to understand where you want those to go.
Some of those creative shots that we kind of talk about in the photo class as well will come in handy if there's a really nice feature to the home. Like I've mentioned in my class, I love farm sinks. We're actually redoing our kitchen right now, and I'm debating on biting the bullet to pay the premium for my farm sink or not. But I always take those cool creative close-up shots of those things that stand out, that are little extra premiums and little teasers, and that's a great thing to do for the virtual open houses to kind of pre-promote it a little bit too.
Exactly. So from here, I can go right into iMovie or Eclipse. I can show iMovie here really quick. I'm going to swipe down, and this is how I search on my phone here. I type IM, open up iMovie, open up a new project, and open up a movie. But when you look in your phone, you can see, or your device, you can see these all look like pictures, but I have numbers going here and a little camera. So that shows me that these are videos. So I'm gonna tap 2 here, and I'm gonna tap create movie. Now this looks intimidating when you open up the iMovie Editor. It's really, you have a couple basic things here. This is your viewing screen. Wherever this line is, that's where your video is. Your plus button for adding things, and you got some settings down here. And what Apple does is kind of nice too, is you have this little question mark up here. When you tap that, it tells you everything. So a lot of their apps have that feature. So that's another way of exploring. To order this and put this in different order, I'm just simply going to press and hold. I'm going to drag that over. And to cut this video down, like this video is kind of long right here, I'm going to tap it, and I'm just going to press and hold right here, and you'll see the numbers right up there. The time numbers will change. I'm going to press and I'm going to move to the right now. You see those numbers going down. I'm making the clip shorter. So you can really quickly go through.
Can you split the clip by chance? Or
Yes,
is that
you
more of an iMovie thing?
This is it. We're in iMovie. And yes, you could do the splitting.
Yeah.
So if I want to just come in here, I tap the clip, I get my editing features down here. Scissors, volume, text, speed, and I just tap split. Now these little boxes you see in between the clips are called transitions. I tap that, and you can see you have dissolve and some different transitions and transition links. That's one of the definite things between this and Eclipse is Eclipse, there's no transitions. I typically just use the generic dissolve transition for the right time. I don't even change that at all. And that's a couple ways. That's one video to get it started. If I want to add more, I just tap that plus button, video, and all my video. Now what iMovie does is really neat is this orange line. That's a video I'm using already. This orange line up here is the part of the clip that I'm using. I haven't used this one yet. Tap it. There it is. So that's, and I've been using this with agents to tell them to go through their videos and try to make, try to take the videos in landscape mode is helpful. When you do them in portrait mode, you get the black sides, and that's it. And then from here, once you have everything trimmed the way you like it, you can add music. I go to my plus button again. I'm gonna back out of this, and I'm gonna add audio right there. And in iMovie and Eclipse, you get these great soundtracks. These are all royalty free, which means you can use them on I use these all the time on my YouTube videos. And you're allowed to free license, and you have different themes here: retro, sentimental. I'm going to take sentimental, and you just take that plus button and pop it in there, and there it is. The one really nice thing about this, I'm going to show you this here, is the video or the audio automatically trims to the video when I tap that. If I make this video shorter, look what happens. The audio becomes.
Yeah. And that's because it's part of the app and the royalty-free music.
It's part of the app. It's part of the royalty-free, and they developed it's like a algorithm that kind of matches the video to the audio. or video to music. So if I lengthen it, it's going to get longer. So you don't have to ever worry about, well, I trim the music for 1 minute and then now I need it for 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah.
When I'm done with this, I hit the done word and then I just export it and save it to my camera roll. So that can go right to Facebook.
So would you say that the biggest difference between, I'm sorry, I use the two apps interchangeably. So would you say the biggest difference between iMovie on your phone and Apple Clips is the transition piece? And does Apple Clips have like the music option, or is that just an iMovie thing?
No, they actually have the same. That the music I showed you there is also available in Clips.
Okay.
So, was there any other quick questions about iMovie? And I could talk about Clips if we have time.
Well, it was just kind of show the apps live, and is there something that you'd recommend first for somebody who is completely new to this? Would you maybe recommend that they use one first to get confident in, and then another, or just jump in both feet?
I would jump in both feet only because depending on where you want the videos to go and what you want the message to be. So for virtual tours, iMovie is great because you can do those nice videos about 3-4 minutes, and you can do the transitions and you can add some little text in here, different spots. If you're going to put that on Facebook or you're going to put that on your YouTube channel, that's great. Now, when you want to put something on Instagram, Instagram is a square format. And if you put a video over 1 minute on Instagram, it's going to cut it short.
Right.
So for Clips, I always keep them under 1 minute when I do that.
Okay. So you use Clips mostly for Instagram, and then you use iMovie for your tours and for your virtual tours, virtual showings.
Correct.
Okay.
And Clips is the confusing part when working with Clips. Open that up here. I'm turning it sideways because it automatically opens up the camera facing forward. So that kind of intimidates people there when you see that. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to make a new project. With Clips, and again, we don't have time to go over all these features, you have to take whatever's here and put it into your timeline here. And you do that by hitting this red button. So I go to my library and I find a photo. You see it comes up squared. Now this photo was taken in get a little lag going here, wide angle. So if I can move left and right, I can pinch in and out and I can compose my picture. Now I simply press this red button and I hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds. I'm not letting go. Now my image is here. I'll show that again. So I go to library, grab this nice kitchen here, compose the picture, press and hold, and drag it in. So the other neat thing with Clips is you get a lot of these title pieces I use called posters. You can't change the font color or the size. You have to work with what's there. These are static. These down here have animations. And then when you get to the way bottom, these are static cards as is. You can't change these at all. I like this one a lot. This is a fun one. I tap in the box, open Sunday, hit up the word apply, and I press and hold, and you see it does that nice animation.
Oh, that's cool.
Now I'm just going to press and move that to the front. Now I've got my video here. The tricky thing with Clips, which confuses people, I'm going to tap on the clip item here. You get the editing piece. I can trim it, make it longer or shorter. But automatically, as you press that button and record, it automatically records your voice. So you have to go through and mute these clips. Otherwise, your voice, like everything I just was saying, would be on there. And then the other neat thing is you get these neat effects. Now, coloring effects, we probably don't want to do to houses because we want to show our houses as is. But we have some nice text effects, stickers, and emojis that you can pop in for fun. So text, I can do something like this. And the only reason that it's showing Sterling Heights is because my phone is in Sterling Heights, so the GPS is picking up my location. And if I misspell, I'm going quickly here. Whoops, let me do that again.
By chance, have you used this for any of like the story features too? Is that kind of where you use it the most? Is it like in an Instagram story or the home snap story?
I have not done an Instagram story. I just leave them to the 1 minute. And then I know the Instagram story is kind of neat. I'm going to get rid of that one here. I'm going to delete that one. I've not done that.
I haven't done one either, but I always somehow get sucked into them when I am on Instagram. So I think that's one thing to maybe try out for our members if they're going to do this is
Right.
I notice I click on a story and it just leads on to the next stories. So it's an easy way for people to, not necessarily scroll past, and they'll watch it with your narration, your music, and HomeSnap recently released the story feature the last year. I think it's been maybe it's already been a year.
I've used the HomeSnap story and I do like it, especially if you're trying to showcase something unique about the house that isn't maybe coming up in the photos that you took. Like I had a little nature preserve behind, and no matter how I took the shots, it just didn't really show what it was. So it was you could do a quick little video right from your phone and talk about that element. And I've used it a couple times and I really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I need to try, and I haven't done that yet. With the clips, you get these little, so you can come in here and tap that, and you can point out the feature of the home, the countertops, granite countertops. You can point out fireplaces or wood floors, and I use these little arrows a lot too to point out unique features. And again, I have the music icon up here, and it's the same soundtracks we were looking at before. You can just quickly, whoa, that was loud. You can quickly add those in there, and then your video's done. Start from the beginning. So it automatically times the music. You simply use the box with the arrow. That's actually technically called the Shero. That's actually their nomenclature for that. And then you just save the video. And now that video's on your phone, you can upload it to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want to go.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's helpful. I use iMovie for some of our tutorials that we've done. I've yet to use it on my phone before, and Apple Clips I've just kind of played around with. So this was really helpful for me as well.
Okay, we have quite a few questions. One is, where do you go to get this Eclipse app?
The Eclipse app is for iPhones, and you go to the App Store, and it's a free download.
Sometimes it's already even on there on the newer ones. I didn't even have to download it on mine. It was already there.
Mine was on my iPhone as well.
Yeah. And then iMovie, I don't believe was already there. So that was definitely one I need. I didn't add as an app yet, but you can, as long as you have Apple, the iMovie.
Now, is the iMovie a paid app? I know the Clips is a free app, but is the iMovie a paid app?
Typically, when you buy a device, you get Apple iMovie and Pages and Keynotes, and all those Apple apps are incorporated with it.
Okay.
So if you've had a phone or an iPad, you've upgraded, and you get another device, it'll be there. You can just download that from the store.
Yeah, and Andrew, I just noted on my phone, because I have an older phone, I think the Apple, the 7, and I had to upload the new iOS version, the 13 version, to get the app.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's a great way to you can make those tours, and you can make those little teasers and then put them out there. Once you put them up on YouTube, again, the social media class I took in MiRealSource is really helpful. How you put those in Instagram, especially, and YouTube, using the hashtags to kind of draw attention to either, hashtag Michigan Real Estate or hashtag Oakland County or Macomb County or wherever you're selling or trying to advertise for, to try to attract more users to your site and get that information out there.
One of the questions was using that URL. So do you use YouTube a lot as your platform for creating the links?
Yeah. Is my screen still sharing, right?
Yeah.
There. So that's my YouTube channel. and I put everything up here. So when someone wants something, move this over so I could see. That was this one right here was the one we were demonstrating on. This is an example of a completed one for St. Clair Shores. Put the hashtag in there, and I'll put these up here along with on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So if I do an open house, I put it all out there everywhere.
And just so everybody knows too, just that might be one of the questions Jill asked is from Instagram, you can just upload directly from your phone into your profile. You don't necessarily need a link, but it is good to always have it somewhere hosted in a link for multiple uses, like in Paragon, Facebook, things like that.
One of the things I find is I like to upload to we have our Google, for Keller Williams, our Google apps, and I use Google Drive a lot. I'll put all these videos in Drive simply because I can get them off my phone. So we don't have, unlimited storage, but also I can quickly then send a link to somebody for that video, and because you can't really email these videos, they're too large.
Yeah.
So any video like this won't go through email, but you send the link and then they can quickly see it.
Yeah, and then they can download it on their phone.
Correct.
Awesome. All right, let
We
me
have
just
another-
make sure that, oh, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, we have another question asking, will there be a recording of this webinar today? Are we recording this?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And then another question is, what about people that do not have an iPhone or an Apple product?
Well, there's different ways you can do this. There's on the phone version, I'm not sure of Android if there's any video editing for the phone. An Android person would have to kind of kick in there and answer that for me. I do know that you could screen record with in Google Chrome. You can do Screencastify and do like screen recordings where you can actually make a slideshow and do something like that and export that as a movie in Google Drive. There are some online video editors there. I haven't had too much experience with them because it's another paid service, and I'm always looking for ways of trying to use the resources I have.
For those
I know,
that I was going to say, for those that are on the call, if in the chat area, if you could say if you have an Android phone, give us an idea of how many people have an Android phone and who you are, and we can do some research and see what materials we can get, or even maybe have a class on it at a later point.
I was going to
Yeah.
say that sounds like a good class topic.
Yeah, and I know people
Examples.
in our office have been using, it's called Box Brownie. You have to pay for it, but you can edit pictures and video, but you have to pay for it. I know a couple agents in our office just use that. And then Canva, I don't know if you can do videos on Canva, but you can, like you did, Andrew, customize the picture with the arrows, and that's free, or you can get the
I use
VIP version.
Canva a lot for marketing purposes, and they have pro versions too, and lots of really great templates to custom and design yourself as well. And then you did mention Box Brownie. Is it okay if I take over the screen, Andrew?
Yeah, I just want to mention one thing, Colleen. I did send some links to you before we started. And Apple has a YouTube support page where they show all these quick little tutorials. And I also messaged you an iMovie link and Eclipse link that has tutorials from Apple going into further details on what we did here today.
I love that. Thank you so much. I will actually get those out when we do our follow-up email for the class. So thanks for sending those. And I appreciate you so much, both of you, and all the great tips that you've given. And now we've got some great stuff. We can also, maybe we can help our Android users on another class too, and go over some ideas there. But I can't thank you enough for taking the time and going through the rehearsal of what we were going to show and doing the show today, because I think everyone's looking for different ways to work remotely, and you guys have given us some great options today. So. And then I think, Taylor, if you want to share your screen, I think we have another prize to give away too, don't we?
Yeah, yep. So I'm going to take over real quick. All right. So Kathleen, you mentioned, just to kind of piggyback off what Kathleen said, is, sorry, you guys are confusing me with the names. Okay, so you mentioned Box Brownie. We have a list of recommended photographers that are aware of our photo copyrights, will sign copyright agreements, good quality. So Box Brownie is one of them that I have listed on here for you guys. They do the editing of the photos and things like that. So if they're photos that you send them, they have a turnaround time where they can do the photo editing for you and floor plans and virtual staging. So something to look into. As Kathleen mentioned, you've had great success with them, Kathleen, or have you just heard through?
I have not. Yeah, I have not used them, Taylor, but somebody, Casey Woodman in our office, just listed a house. Her sellers took the pictures, sent them to her, and she used Box Brownie.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I've heard a few members using it that have liked it for like the virtual furniture options and stuff like that. But in terms of like video tours and professional editing, I don't know how many have taken advantage of that. So that's cool to hear.
Taylor, can you show them where you got to that again? I think that's, I'm seeing
It's under
people.
our website, under MiRealSource.com, under more recommended photographers. We have a list of all of them too, and they're all unique. It's a limited list. It's actually a closed list unless it's something, a completely new service. But as things change, especially virtual, there might be even more options added down the road. But anything from stills and floor plans to drone to virtual floor interactive floor plan tours, special cameras right now with everything being completely shut down where you can't have other third parties going into houses or anything like that. Not all of this is an option for you yet. But Box Brownie definitely is one that we have with the photo editing, and then a couple different local photography companies that they're like jacks of all trades. They do a little bit of everything from commercial tours and photos and drones and everything. So that's on our website. Check them out. Some of them even offer discounts to MiRealSource members as well. And then, so our first prize winner was Al LaForte. He was the first person to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So congratulations, Al. It'll be worth it. There's going to be lots of content for you. And then now our next question is, name a MiRealSource product that has a lead generation piece built into it. So there's actually 4 lead generation tools that we offer, or tools that have lead generation pieces in them. So the first person to get one of those right, Kathy Champion, you are right. Market Stats is one of them. So Market Stats has that social media sharing option for you to post content on your website to social media, and many agents get leads that way, just from putting out information to potential buyers and sellers. So Kathy Champion, you are the winner of the second picnic backpack. Write your name down. I'll be following up with an email to both Kathy and Al just to get your mailing addresses so that we can get these bags sent out to you.
And Al LaForte said, thank you very much. He had to jump off. He was doing another webinar at the office today, but he is very excited. He said, thank you very much.
Awesome.
And just one last thing, if everybody that has an Android could please make a comment that you have an Android in the question or chat section, that would be super helpful. And thank you to Kathleen and to Andrew. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Great job, you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
And then we're just going to stay on for another minute or so just to review any questions real quick. And then we appreciate any feedback that you have on topics, guests, anything that you would like us to cover. Go ahead and let us know in that follow-up email. It goes directly both to Colleen and I, that MiRealSource or MIRS meetings email that comes to you guys. we see any questions that you have or feedback. So we appreciate topics, guests that you think would be helpful, and yeah.
And send us your success stories too. We
Yes.
love, you know, we love the success stories. We like to hear what's working, the tips and tricks you have, and you may end up being, we may end up talking to you and asking you to be a guest. So send us what's working for you. Send us your feedback. We're always open to hear that too.
Oh, the other products, good question. Okay, so the other products that are lead generation tools aside from Market Stats, HomeSnap is one of them. It has a profile option that you can share for people who are interested in searching. They have to create an account and provide their name and email so that they can search for listings under your HomeSnap account. Another one is Cloud CMA lead generation form. You can share that on social media or send that to somebody, and they can fill out their address, their name, and then they can get a rough CMA of things that have been kind of happening in their neck of the woods. And then the Market Stats, and then our single property website. We also have a form that people can fill out if they see a property they're interested, or goes directly to your email from the single property website. So those are the 4 lead generation tools that MiRealSource offers.
And we have a class on HomeSnap today at 12. So if you go into Paragon, you can sign up right under resources, but there is a HomeSnap class. We'll be showing a lot of the new features there as well. Thank you, Debbie, our Director of Education, for reminding us. Yep, there's a HomeSnap class today at 12. Next week, we have the remote agent class. We also have the virtual open house and virtual property showings class. And then again, we'll have our Mixing It Up episode 7 next week. So.
Yep. So here are the places where you can see the online courses, the live register for live webinars, and any pre-recordings that we've done of other classes, including this one. That one will be posted as well. So thank you all so much for joining. I know we ran over a little bit, but hopefully you were able to take a lot from the class, and we will see you in future classes and next week's Mixing It Up.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks again, Kathleen. Thanks, Andrew.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It was so great and helpful.
Awesome. Stay home, stay safe. We'll see you hopefully soon.